We have something really cool and special for you guys today. So I don't know how many of you are watching that homeschool, but I know as a homeschool mom that a homeschooling can be overwhelming as far as like getting everything in that you feel like your kids need and making sure that everybody's schedules are working out and all of that kind of stuff. So today we're going to be talking about how we can make at least one part of your day and your week not overwhelming. I have with me Jamie Elliott, and she is a member of Art Studio Kids. Hey, Jamie, thank you for coming on.
Hey.
She has three boys, and they are all do these lessons. She posts pictures of their stuff all the time, and it's awesome. I love seeing it. So Jamie is a full-time working mom and homeschool mom. So, Jamie, I'm going to let you introduce yourself a little bit more. Tell us about yourself, if you want to tell us about the boys and what you have behind you and all of that. So, go for it.
Yes. Hi, my name is Jamie Elliott, and I do have three boys. They're 10, 8, and 6. So they keep me busy. And as Allison mentioned, I'm a full-time working mom and homeschooling mom. And a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago, if you'd asked me if we'd be homeschooling, I would have thought you were crazy because I didn't think it was possible to work and to homeschool. But I was wrong, and I'm glad that I was wrong. But through things like this amazing, the kids art program that we have here at the Art Studio Montevallo, it just makes homeschooling that much easier. So a little bit about me: I'm an accountant by trade. And so I deal more with numbers, spreadsheets, that's my thing. So when the thought of doing art with my children gave me a little bit of heartburn, because creativity I don't see as one of my strong points. So when we were introduced, a friend told me about the Art Studio Kids and how easy it was to get boxes mailed to us, because we were starting at a point where we had no art supplies. We had basic crayons, markers, some glue, maybe some glitter, but that was it. And so it's been nice that our art boxes we get each month, which I'm sure Allison will talk more about, is we get the art supplies that we need. Not too much, not too little, just the right amount to expose my kids to different types of art. It's just been an amazing addition to our homeschool. It's easy. Because if I'm busy at work or I have a meeting and I can tell my kids, go do your art. And my oldest gets the art box, and he can open his laptop. He knows how to go to the Art Studio page, and he does the lessons on his own time. And sometimes his little brothers jump in.
That's awesome.
We love to display our art. A lot of this is art that the boys have done.
Yes, they always do an excellent job. And I love how some of your boys love to like follow step by step, but then others like just do their own thing. And I love that because that allows them that creativity to, to go in and learn these techniques, but then to take them and do other things with them. And that's the whole point of what we do with Art Studio Kids is we want kids to know how to do these things, but we want them to be creative with it. And so I love that you have different personalities there, and some of them love. And she told me one time, she was like, "No, one of mine loves that you give the step by step, and they hate it when you say just do what you want to do." And so,
that's right.
But yeah, that's the whole point is, we give you a variety of techniques and supplies to use and things to introduce your kids to, but also allow them the freedom to be creative with those things. Would you agree?
Yeah, I got an example.
Okay.
So yes, the exposure to the different types of art, I mean, that is huge for me. I mean, like, for example, I love watercoloring. I think it's great, and there's plenty of watercolor lessons out there and books, but we get exposure not only to watercoloring, but to oil pastels and print making, and what else have you done, Thomas? Just all kinds of tie-dye. I mean, all kinds of art. But so here's a little chicken that was done. Where's this thing? That was done on Facebook Live. You're right.
Yeah.
But then you get the one that they try it, and maybe it just didn't work what they thought it was going to. So he's like, but you know what? I'm gonna take it and do my own thing. And then this is what he comes up with.
I love it.
They do. They'll print the back. So, yes, they take what they learn and just take it, make it their own, and I love it.
Yes, that's awesome. I love that. And that's my goal for any kids classes that we do, whether it be in person or online, is for kids to really get a sense of confidence with what they're working with and to be able to use that in other ways. So that I love that they're able to do that. So I just have a few questions for you. And then if we have anybody jump on and ask questions in the comments, y'all feel free to do that. If you have not given StreamYard permission to use your name on Facebook, there should be a link in one of the places that we're in for you to be able to do that. And then that way your name will pop up and we'll know who's asking the questions. So I would like to know, you talked about this being a big help as far as you working and, having busy times. You and I were just talking about this being some of your busiest times at work. What has Art Studio Kids done to make homeschooling easiest for you?
It's taken a weight off me on a subject or something that I probably would not have done if this was not offered. My kids probably would not have the art exposure that they do, the hands-on art experience that I wanted my kids to have, but I did not have that time, and it made me very anxious to even think about sitting down and trying to do an art project. Who has time for that during the day? So that's been the biggest help for me, is just how simple it is for the boys to jump on, and we don't have to drive to the art studio. We don't have to, we live about, 20, 30 minutes away from the actual studio. And I just don't have in my bandwidth during the day to drive my boys to art lessons. So we can get them right from home. And that is huge help.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's for me, like as a homeschool mom, because of my work schedule and with having 4 kids that have been homeschooling and sports and everything else that they're already in, that has been one of my things is I don't want to be on somebody else's schedule. I want to be on our schedule and do what works for us. And that was part of the reason we started homeschooling was, it allowed us the freedom to do things when we wanted to do it and how we wanted to do it and that sort of thing. So I think that's awesome. For other parents, what would you say would be their biggest benefit to signing up for Art Studio Kids?
Oh, the biggest benefit, besides just watching the kids grow in something and their confidence, that has been a huge benefit for me as a parent, just as a proud parent, to see the kids get exposure to art and have an appreciation for art of various kinds. Just seeing that appreciation and them growing in their confidence. And I feel like the art takes into other subjects as well. So many times. And be it their history and the art that they're learning through our art studies and through even math. That art it all just seems to kind of go through, and that's a huge benefit for me. Just seeing my kids enrich. It's really an enrichment for them.
Okay, that's awesome. I love that you see it as that. And that's I always laugh when we have classes where we have to incorporate something like with math or something like that, and I'm like, y'all didn't know you had to do math today, did you? And they're all like, oh man, but it makes it fun, and it makes it where they can take those skills that they're learning in other subjects and apply those in their art lesson. So I agree with you. I think that is a huge benefit. If you didn't have Art Studio Kids, what do you think your art lessons would look like? What do you think you would use? Like, what would you do if you didn't have Art Studio Kids?
Coloring books. I mean, really, I don't know. Probably just something very textbooky. I mean, like, here, follow the instructions, step 1, step 2, step 3, something of that nature. I don't know, maybe I'd try to throw something together online, but that's just kind of sketchy sometimes. Hit or miss.
And even like, videos on YouTube, when you think you're safe, a lot of times it's not, you have to watch what advertisements are coming up and that sort of thing.
Yes, exactly. And I'd like to point too, Allison we have a wonderful safe place to chat about with other parents doing the art studio and other kids, and to share our work safely. And that's very helpful too, and it gives me peace of mind.
Well, good. I'm glad. So what has been your boys' favorite lessons or techniques that we've done so far?
We have a new kitty cat. Well, guys, what has been y'all's favorite? Can y'all answer that for me?
I don't know. There's a bunch of them. Mine's turkey. Turkey.
Jackson loves watercoloring.
Okay.
And just pastel. This right here. What do you see? Was that the Coliseum?
Yes, I like
So talking about turning art with history and stuff. That was one of his favorites.
Yeah, that was the bleeding tissue paper. That was a lot of fun.
The tissue paper, bleeding tissue paper. It looks like a lot like a watercolor when you look at it.
Yeah, it does.
Honestly, they love it all, Allison. They love it all.
I'm so glad. What's your cat's name?
Kyle.
What was that? Kyle. Oh, how sweet.
I'm sure you'll be seeing him in some pictures soon and some paintings.
We should. Absolutely. Do you have any other thoughts about Art Studio Kids that you want to share? Anything your boys want to share? Anything else?
I just want to encourage other mamas, other homeschool families that may be thinking about this. It may seem like it's overwhelming, but it is so not. This has allowed me to provide such a wonderful art lessons for my children without me having to do much of anything. We get our box in the mail. The boys get so excited, run out and they open their box, and what is it? Oh, show me a poster. We get these really neat posters in our art boxes that we get to encouraging sayings and things like this. This is one of Thomas's favorites. Would you like to share it?
That was a new one, wasn't it?
Mistakes are proof that you are trying. That's true. So we get these nice posters that they hang up, and it's just so not overwhelming. It's easy.
Well, good. That's my goal at the studio, is for mamas not to be stressed. So whether you're taking in-person classes or you've signed up for Art Studio Kids, I don't want it to be overwhelming. I don't want it to be more on your plate than what you want to have on your plate, And so I'm glad to hear that it's taken a burden off of you as a homeschooling mama and as a working mom that's trying to do it all and trying to juggle it all. So I'm so glad that it is being a blessing to you and to your family. And thank you so much for jumping on today. I know you are in a busy season with work, and so I appreciate you taking this time and coming to talk about it. Yes, let me see his artwork.
Yes, we are wonderful. I am so glad that you asked me to do this, and I'm so happy to share. We have my youngest coming in now. All right, Thomas, come show your. All right.
I made a tea.
I love it. It looks like you used some bubble wrap and your paint and did you do that on your jelly plate?
Yep, I actually just finished it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a little plate that they're rubbing ink on and making prints and stuff we've never would have done before. Except what it looks like. We might have gone to, down the art supply, aisle at Walmart and gotten some paints and some paper, but, just wouldn't have the direction. And
right. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I did want to let everybody know that today is the last day. We are closing the doors on Art Studio Kids for new members for a little while. What that does is it allows me to really focus on the lessons and to focus on our families who are in Art Studio Kids. And so we close the doors and are going to be opening those up just a couple of times a year. And then that way I'm able to really hone in on what we're doing, working on our videos, working on, ministering and working with our families during the time that it's not open. And so if you are wanting to jump in, if you have had any questions or any reservations about it, I hope that Jamie's interview today has helped kind of answer any questions. But the doors will be closing tonight at midnight. So once those doors close, it will not be available until later on in the year. So if you are getting started with homeschooling this year and you are completely overwhelmed with how do I even think about getting art in here, this is the way to do it. So I'm going to put the link up and I want you to go to it. Just check it out. It will be up until tonight at midnight. And then, like I said, the doors will be closed until later in the year. We are getting ready for some really fun stuff coming up over the next few months. Once a quarter, we do painting. So they get canvases and paints and brushes and that sort of thing once a quarter. So that's actually coming up in August. We're going to do some fun painting on canvas. Are you excited? And then we've got some really fun stuff coming up with sewing. And gosh, what all else do we have coming up? We've got.
I forgot about sewing.
I
Yes.
love sewing.
Yes, so we've got some really fun stuff coming up over these next few months. So if you want to jump in, today is the day. The clock is ticking and we are getting ready to close those doors. So I'm going to let you guys go so you can get back and enjoy your Sunday. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. And if you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments and we'll get back to them and answer them. And I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.